Welcome to the Kendo and Aido Italia podcast in this English language version. Enjoy listening.
Welcome back to the Kendo and Aido Italia podcast, the podcast for fans of Kendo, Aido, and more. We've got a great collection of sources today, and we're really going to take a deep dive into the fundamentals, the core stuff in Kendo. Our aim isn't just, listing techniques. It's more about digging into why they work like they do. We want to pull out some practical tips, things that can help you, the listener, maybe learn a bit quicker, get past those early hurdles by understanding the reasons behind the rules.
That's exactly it, yeah. Today's mission is really about nailing down that link, that foundational connection between the practice weapon, the shinai, and the history, the principles of the actual katana, the real sword. Honestly, understanding this is what's crucial if you want to move past just copying shapes and actually make your kendo effective. It helps break through plateaus.
Okay, let's jump right in then. The absolute core idea, the one that governs pretty much everything, is treating that bamboo shinai like it's a real sword. Heavy, sharp, the whole deal. And that idea, it dictates everything, right? Starting with just how you carry it.
Precisely, yeah. We start with teito. That's the position, the way you wear the sword at your side. And our sources really highlight this key difference. The shinai is round, it's relatively safe, but the katana, it has that sharp edge. And since the katana sets the rules, that puts some strict limits on how we handle the shinai, even in basic practice.
Okay, so if we're always thinking katana, what's the big no-no that comes from that? For just drawing the sword?
The main one is drawing downwards. You just can't do it with a real katana worn properly. I mean, unless you flip the sword upside down first, which, is obviously not right. So in Kendo, we always draw outwards and upwards. It's not just tradition. It comes from the practical reality of the weapon. It keeps you ready.
Right, readiness. That makes sense. And that idea of readiness, it must affect how we hold the shinai, even when we're not drawing or fighting. Like, you see beginners sometimes leaning on it or holding it like a baseball bat.
Exactly. And you just can't do that. Think about it if it were a real sword leaning on it, holding it sideways. You couldn't draw quickly or cleanly. So the discipline in the dojo, even in those small things, it's building that readiness, preparing for what a real encounter might demand.
So just to be clear on carrying it then, when you're not in taito.
Right. If you're just carrying the shinai, generally it's in your left hand.
Sure.
But if you're using the bokudo, the wooden sword, that goes in the right hand. But the moment you shift towards engagement, mentally you're back to that taito principle, ready for the draw.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me.
Yeah.
The grip. Because the shinai is round, grabbing it kind of from the side, flat in the hand, it feels easy, almost natural for a beginner. But the sources are really clear that's wrong. Why?
Yeah.
Why does that easy grip cause so many problems down the line?
Well, it goes back to that core principle again. You have to follow the katana, that flat sort of easy grip you mentioned. On the round bamboo, it creates a hand position that's just too loose. You can't deliver power properly. You can't cut effectively like you would need to with a real sword. The correct grip, it needs to form a strong V shape. Between your thumb and forefinger, wrapping around the handle, never flat.
And I've read that a flat grip, it often leads to tension everywhere else, right? Your whole kendo gets stiff. And the tip of the sword tends to point upwards during suburi practice, which isn't right either. It's inefficient.
Exactly. That V shape, it gives you, the sources say more brooch as well as flexibility. Basically, control without fatal tension.
So how do you teach that? It sounds a bit abstract.
Yeah, it can be. But there's a great analogy the sources mentioned. Think about grabbing an ice cream cone.
An ice cream cone.
Yeah. Seriously. You start the grip with the bottom of your little finger first, wrapping it around. This naturally creates a little triangular space inside your hand, like you're holding the cone gently. If you tried to squeeze that space shut, you'd crush the cone, right? That means your grip is too tight. You need to wrap it, support it, not crush it.
Huh. That's actually a really good visual.
Yeah.
Okay, so that helps with the relaxed yet firm grip. But what about tenuchi? That final snap or twist at the moment of impact. It seems to rely on that relaxation, but it feels counterintuitive.
It really does. Because our instinct is, grab harder for more power or control. But proper tenuchi, that final squeeze and wrist action, it only works if the lead up was relaxed. Like cracking a whip needs looseness before the snap. The cone grip sets that up.
Okay, connecting hands to body now.
Oh.
Posture, getting those armpits closed, relaxed. That often feels forced too.
It does, absolutely. If you try to just muscle your arms into that position, you get tense. Like a really awkward, forceful handshake, your shoulders hunch, armpits open up.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
So there's a simple trick, another natural movement thing. Put your hands together in front of you like you're about to wash your face.
Okay.
Do that naturally and notice what happens. Your armpits tend to close, your shoulders relax downwards.
Yeah, they do.
Right. So from that position, you just slide your left hand down the shinai handle into the correct kamae spot. You've basically tricked your body into the right relaxed posture without fighting it.
Using these everyday natural motions.
Yeah.
That really seems to be the key here, applying them to Kendo. Let's talk about the strike itself now. Hitting men. How do we get that power, that sequential movement, like a whip cracking?
Yeah, the whip analogy is perfect. The strike must be sequential. It can't be one stiff block moving all at once. If you tense up, move everything together, you kill the speed, you kill the power, and you definitely kill the tenuchi, that final cut.
So walk us through the sequence again. Upswing, downswing.
Okay, on the way up. It starts with the wrist initiating, then the kansaki, the tip follows, then the elbow lifts, and finally the shoulder comes up slightly. Then the downswing reverses that, but it has to be one smooth, connected motion. Shoulder down, elbow extends, wrist snaps, kansaki lands. One flow.
One flow, not three separate clunky movements.
Exactly.
So if it's meant to be like a whip, what's the most common thing people do wrong that just stops that flow dead?
Oh, almost always it's trying to muscle the swing with the right hand, just pure strength from the right arm.
Yeah.
That immediately creates tension, kills the sequence, ruins the whip action, and makes proper tenuchi impossible. To get around that, again, the sources say, think about simple, everyday actions.
Like lifting things.
Yeah.
I find that helpful. Thinking about picking up a cup of tea you reach, then lift. Or using a fork reach out, step maybe, lift the food.
Exactly those kinds of things. They're natural reaching, lifting motions. Your body does them sequentially without you even thinking about it, usually without excess tension. Another really good one is throwing a ball overhand. Think about that motion.
Okay.
The basic body mechanics, how your core engages, how your arm whips forward to accelerate the ball, it's surprisingly similar to the kendo swing, just the head angle is different, obviously. Practicing that throw can help you feel the natural sequence and weight shift without getting bogged down in kendo specifics.
That's a great tip. And one more thing on the upswing. Breathing out and consciously pushing the shoulders down as the sword comes up. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely vital. As you lift the sword, breathe out, and try to feel like you're pressing your shoulders downwards. It sounds weird, but it prevents that tension from creeping up into your neck and shoulders before you even start the strike. Keeps you relaxed and ready for the drop.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Footwork. Ashisabaki. That sliding movement. This is often really tough for people because it just feels unnatural compared to walking. What exactly is it?
Right, ashisabaki is that smooth, gliding movement, keeping a constant distance between your feet, sliding across the floor. And yeah, it feels weird at first. So one source had a really clever practice idea. Put 2 small pieces of paper under the balls of your feet, just under the toes.
Paper. Why?
To help you feel the slide, you have to slide smoothly to keep the paper underneath. The goal is quiet, smooth movement, like feeling dust rolling between the floor and the foot. That's the image they use.
That's evocative.
Ah.
Okay, so when moving forward with that slide, what's the big mistake to avoid?
Dragging the back foot, that's the main one. When you move forward, your back foot, the left foot, has to be the engine. It pushes the body forward. It's not just pulled along for the ride.
And backwards.
The opposite. The front foot, the right foot, pushes you backward. The key is quiet, level movement, not bouncing up and down. Keep a low center of gravity.
Okay, once you get the basic slide down, then comes the more explosive step, right? For reaching the target. Kumikomi, the jump forward.
Yeah, kumikomi. It's essential. Because that simple slide often just isn't enough distance, especially in a quick exchange. You need to cover ground fast. The absolute core of kumikomi is thinking about delivering your whole body forward. It's not just reaching out with your arms and the sword.
So less focus on hitting the target, more on propelling yourself.
Exactly. Concentrate on that left foot, pushing hard, driving your center of gravity, your whole body forward with the attack.
What do people really struggle with that jump? It can feel awkward.
It can. If it's difficult, the sources suggest practicing by, say, hopping over a small object on the floor, like a shinai laid down or a belt.
Just hopping over it.
Yeah, just to get the feeling of propelling your body upward and forward. It builds confidence and helps you understand how to move your mass. But crucially, you have to remember that in the actual Kendo kumikomi, the left knee should only be slightly bent as you land. It's not a huge, deep squat.
Got it. Okay, let's bring it all together. Refinement. After working on grip, posture, strike, footwork, how do you know if your men strike, your main attack, is actually correct, effective.
Well, a good, correct strike feels relaxed, surprisingly. And afterwards, the tip of the sword, the kansaki, should drop pretty much straight down towards the floor after impact. If your grip is too tense, what happens is the sword tends to swing outwards or sort of around your body. That shows you didn't have good tenuchi. That final snap wasn't there.
And you mentioned testing the grip relaxation earlier.
Yeah, you can do this, but, check with your sensei first, or do it outside the dojo. Hold a stick or shinai straight out in front of you. If your grip is properly relaxed, the tip will actually drop or dip forward a bit further than if you're gripping it tightly. It shows how that relaxed hand lets the sword's own weight contribute to that final part of the cut. That feeling is related to tenuchi.
And the final position of the hands and sword tip after the strike, where should they end up?
Okay, 2 key things. Your right hand should never finish lower than your left knee. That's too low, you've overswung. And critically, your left hand should stop around the height of your solar plexus. If it stops there, the kansaki will naturally point towards your opponent's abdomen or belt area.
Not towards their chest or even your own chest.
Exactly. If your left hand is too high, the tip points up towards yourself maybe. Useless. It needs to finish threatening the center line.
Okay, one last quick point. Smaller strikes, like kote, wrist, or dome, body, the distance is much shorter. Does that mean they can be just quick little flicks, less power needed?
No. Absolutely not. Even small strikes, they still need a proper cutting motion. Remember the core principle. It's all based on the katana. Every technique, big or small, needs to represent a cut. It needs that arc, that engagement.
So no just flicking the wrist.
Right, that's a common error, just flicking without using the body. A good drill for this, actually, is passing a ball back and forth with a partner at close range. It helps you feel how to generate that short, sharp cutting motion using your center and proper mechanics, not just your wrist. So, pulling all this together for you listening. Kendo, well, it's a lifetime journey, isn't it? Especially when you're starting out or even refining things later, the focus really has to be on getting the form right, the mechanics. Correctness over just trying to be fast. Break down these complex things, the grip, the swing, the footwork, into the smaller pieces we talked about, and keep trying to connect them back to natural everyday movements. It makes it less abstract.
That really ties it all together nicely. Okay, so here's a final thought, something provocative for you to chew on. Think about one of the movements we discussed today, maybe the kumikomi jump, or that whip-like strike, or even just a relaxed ice cream cone grip. Try and find a similar feeling, a similar movement in your normal daily life this week. Could be carrying bags, opening a jar, throwing something, and then next time you're in the dojo, consciously try to bring that feeling of natural, relaxed efficiency into your kendo. Let's see what happens. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. If you'd like to support our efforts, you can visit our Facebook page where you can find some cool swag to help us develop new projects. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to this podcast.
Kendo Italia, il podcast.